I'm Catherine Pack, Senior Fellow at CSIS, and welcome to another edition of Pacific Policy Pulse. I'm joined here today by Vice Admiral Tiongson. He is the U.S. Commander of Coast Guard Pacific Area and concurrently of Defense Force West. Thank you, Admiral, for joining us.
Thank you for the opportunity, Catherine.
You are usually based out of California, but you're here in D.C. this week. What are you doing here in D.C.?
Our headquarters is in Alameda, California, for all of the Pacific area of the Coast Guard. So obviously, every now and then I have to come back here to D.C. because that's where our headquarters is, and that's where our commandant is. So I come here a lot to make sure I'm aligned with all the things that are happening within the Coast Guard. But I think most importantly for me is the opportunity to tell our story. What is the Coast Guard doing in the Pacific? What are we doing in the Indo-Pacific? Why are we doing it? And how can we do it better? So I spend a lot of time here talking to our stakeholders. And that could be folks like you, just telling our story to think tanks, Congress, whether it's one-on-one or testifying, and other departments. So later today, I'll be meeting with the Department of Commerce and the Department of State as we talk about illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing. I come here a lot, and I do that to make sure I have complete alignment with the entire federal government and our stakeholders.
So as the commander of Coast Guard Pacific Area, that's a huge swath of territory and huge responsibilities. What is top of mind for you? What is the main challenge you're facing right now?
Let me put it in one big word, and I'll break it down a little bit. And I'm sure others coming here would say the same thing, but I'll say resources. So first, there's people. Just like the other services, the Coast Guard is also having struggles with recruiting individuals into our service. At one point in time, we were down about 4,000 people coming into our service. For our small service, that's tremendous. What that does is it makes us do things to align our forces with our highest risks, which means other things may not occur. So we look at those things in terms of warranted risks, and we go ahead and execute those. So that is a challenge for us moving forward. We do have some great help through the administration in getting after that, but it takes time. So that 4,000 person hole is still in our system somewhere. Although we're doing a little better now, we still have that hole in our system.
And no quick fix.
And no quick fix, unless you want to come and join. But you were already in the Marine Corps, so I don't think you need to do that. The other piece would be assets. First, I would say assets in terms of there is a great demand for the Coast Guard everywhere. Everywhere I go throughout the Pacific, that is absolutely true. My counterpart on the Atlantic area, same exact thing. We see that all the time. And what we are doing is we're actually losing in terms of assets and capacity for those. So think in terms of icebreakers. So obviously in my area responsibility, I have the Arctic and the Antarctic. Those require icebreakers to have visible presence, surface presence, and to conduct our missions. Other nations have plentiful these types of assets. We have two, and that is it. More assets, capacity-wise, absolutely, and then I would say sustainment of the assets that we have today. So obviously, there's a lot of things that have happened since COVID and even before then that have driven up prices in terms of how much it costs to sustain vessels at sea and aircraft. We suffer from those as well.
Hugely important subjects. Thank you. On a little lighter note, what are you reading these days? What book do you have next to your bedstand?
So I'm reading a book called The Age of AI and the Human Future. There's three authors. Kissinger is probably the one that's most notable. It's a little bit aged, but it talks about the promise of AI and the peril of AI all at once. So it gives you a little bit of history of AI, how it's evolved over time, how it surrounds us all today, whether we know it or not, and where it impacts economics, politics, world order, all of these types of things. This book in particular talks about, hey, it's something that needs to be thought of and controlled as we go forward, because as you get into machine learning and you go through different data and things like that, things learn and they actually would take on the motivations, the values, and even the beliefs of those who are supplying the data to whatever that machine is trying to do, which is kind of an interesting piece. So I'm only like 3/4 of the way through that, but I'm looking forward to it. And just to back that up, I'm going to take a course, because I always love to learn stuff on AI and machine learning, just so I can increase my professional knowledge.
Thank you, Admiral, for joining us on Pacific Policy Pulse.
Excellent. Thank you very much.